Mr. P.K. Goyal joins us, Director of Finance with IOC, joins us live from New Delhi. Mr. Goyal, do you think the finances of oil marketing companies are currently in a desperate and a dire state, given the way how crude prices are refusing to come down and we have no fuel price hike on the anvil?
Yeah, it is very true. We are really a financial constraint. Our borrowing, which was last year 52,000 crores, is already now in the range of 80,000 crores for the as on 31st March, and it is going on every month by 4,000 to 5,000 crore rupees.
Mr. Goyal, you recently commented that if refiners are not allowed to hike fuel prices adequately, then India could face shortage of fuel as well in coming days, as your ability to import will then be impacted. How severe really is the situation on ground?
No, as on today, we are able to borrow the funds from the banks, and we are already returned to Government of India. If the situation continues for near future, it will be very difficult for us to borrow further fund.
But currently at operating level, what is the net loss which you are incurring in all the three categories: petrol, kerosene and then diesel?
The petrol, we have a loss of 8 rupees 4 paisa, and diesel we have a loss of 14 rupees 29 paisa. Kerosene is 31 rupees, and for LPG is 570 rupees per cylinder. As a industry is losing 550 crores approximately per day on this, which does not include 50 crores under recovery on MS. So overall, industry is losing roughly 600 rupees per day on these four products, sale of four products.
Right. Mr. Goyal, you've made a strong case of need of raising petrol prices by about 10 rupees per litre if excise duty is not really reduced. What discussion have you had with the government in this regard on last count?
No, industry has taken up with the Ministry of Petroleum, and it mentioned that as on today, oil industry is having a under recovery of MS at 8 rupees 4 paisa. If you include the VAT at Delhi, the increase will be in the range of 9 rupees 64 paisa. Either company should be fully compensated on this accounts, or the excise duty up to the tune of under recovery should be reduced, so that we should not have any under recovery on this account.
And what was the response to that?
Till date, we have not received any response, but we are continuously follow up with the ministry.
Mr. Goyal, anything you've heard on cash compensation at least? How much compensation have you sought from the government in case prices are not being allowed to go up?
See, last year, industry has an under recovery, unmet under recovery of 42,000 crores overall for the industry of 11-12. So industry has mentioned that it should be compensated 100% for current year, for the year 11-12.
So what is your sense? Are we likely to get a fuel price hike or a cut in excise duty on petrol and diesel?
That I can't comment on that. That is up to the government what decision they take it.
But how soon can we see a decision, Mr. Goyal? Because this has been a lingering issue.
No, see, in the press release which IOC has released, we have mentioned that from 16 December the prices has not been increased for MS, and the last price revision for this other three sensitive product, that is HSD, LPG and SKO, was revised last only on 26th of June 2011. Since then the prices have not increased. So it has been taken very strongly with the Ministry of Petroleum, either to compensate the OMCs 100%, or they can take the decision for increasing the prices.
But what would you favor, a fuel price hike or a cut in excise duty?
No, see, fuel price increase will be always better for the economy. Once the prices are as per the market determined prices, the consumption may come down, which is increasing at the rate of, in case of MS, is increasing more than 5%, in case of diesel it is increasing more than 7%. In case of LPG, it is more than 10%.
Right. Mr. Goel, there were also reports coming in that oil PSUs have requested the government to make petrol a regulated product yet again. What's the rationale behind that?
Why we have mentioned is that it should be come under the category of controlled products, because unless and until it is made a controlled product, we will not be getting the compensation on these accounts. Because one way we are not able to increase the prices, we can't have indefinitely losses on MS.
What about,
that is the reason we have asked the government to...
Right. Mr. Goel, what about product demand? At what run rate is your diesel, kerosene and petrol demand increasing?
Yeah, I just mentioned diesel growth is roughly 6 to 7% current year, means 11-12. MS growth is around about 4.5% to 5%. In case of LPG, it is 9.7% to 10% growth in case of LPG. SKO, there is a negative growth because of the reduction in the quota of state.
Mr. Goel, one final question. What's the outlook on your fourth quarter earnings, looking at how the quarter has gone by, under recoveries and also your borrowing costs, which are, seen rising further?
See, it all depends upon the compensation, how much compensation which we are going to get from ministry.
And how much compensation is actually required from the ministry? What is your total under recovery for Q4?
Yeah, I have just mentioned you earlier that total unmet under recovery for the industry is around 42,000 crores for the year 11-12.
What is your under recovery is what I want to understand.
So IOC under recovery will be in the range of roughly 22,000 crores.
22,000.
Unmet under recoveries.